I saw you at WonderCon.
Oh yeah.
And I talked to you about Shaw, and I want to know, am I the reason she's part of the cast?
I hope I didn't lie back then. I'm a little cryptic sometimes, but I usually never lie.
No.
Yeah.
You said you were kind of surprised that the fan reception was, the female fan perception was very high for her. We were very excited to have her.
Oh yeah.
So that's what I was saying. Did you?
I guess I gotta stop reading Tumblr because there's such a virulent sort of reaction to who people perceive Reese's chemistry with.
Right.
And I don't know why on our show, but people get very proprietary. Maybe it's just the women. I don't know why. Like they get all bent out of shape.
Don't mess with girls' shit.
I know.
Well, actually, before you came up here, we were talking about how women are represented on the show between ourselves, and one of the things we were talking about is how female characters are introduced, and it never makes a difference that they're women. Do you guys ever think about that?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Have you met Jonah's wife? She's incredible. She's a fantastic writer in her own right. No, we feel it's really important that we have, that we represent that aspect accurately. But if we can be gender blind with the character, that would be great. If it doesn't even come into play. The flip side of that is everyone goes, when is someone going to kiss on the show? It's like, well, once we go down that road, then if that becomes the other thing. And, what is it? The Bechdel test? Is that what it's called?
Yes.
The Bechdel test.
Yeah, you passed.
I think we're there, but I don't know. I think there's a lot more we can do, and I think. I almost feel like Shaw's character is somebody that it wouldn't matter what gender she was. It wouldn't, and I think to a degree Root as well. And Taraji's just fantastic. Taraji gets mad at us because she wants to wear more dresses. She's like, I gotta wear this again. I'm like, Sarah's the same way. They want to change it up. We'll play around with it a little bit this year, but we always think that, let's establish your characters' bona fides first, who they are professionally, and then we'll worry about issues of chemistry or sexuality later.
This NSA scandal appeared quite prominently in the video you guys just aired. Can you tell a little bit more about your reaction as it's revealed over the last 5 weeks?
It was kind of crazy. I don't know if you guys saw the reel we threw up. I don't know if you were on the panel or not. Probably not. But
I just saw the panel.
But just watching that thing 2.5 years ago, when Michael was walking down Central Park and he's talking about the people wanted to be protected. They just didn't want. They didn't want to know how, and it was like, wow. And you're sitting there, and then we start seeing the news footage, and you're going, "This is nuts!" But it's always been there, and that's the staggering aspect is that guys like Bill Binney were talking about this already. Former Secret Service guy. There's a guy in the FBI. I can't recall his name. Well, Drake is another one. They were talking about this before Snowden, and people yawned, or maybe it was because they didn't present themselves so much as whistleblowers, or they had already retired from the profession. That people didn't seem as concerned about what they were talking about was happening in Bluffdale, Utah. I'm curious. The interesting part of Snowden coming forward for us is not what he's saying. None of that is surprising. Is we were fascinated to see how people would react to it, and I'm still not certain that most Americans or people around Europe seems to have a more virulent reaction to it. But I think we all traded our privacy away so long ago. I sometimes wonder if it matters to people anymore.
So I'm gonna ask about the machine really quickly.
Sure.
So now that it's out in the world, and I've always been sort of the opinion that it does seem to have emotions. It does seem to have very, very at least clear to the viewer's personality. But we saw in the last episode the countdown clock went back to day 1. Does it remember any of the stuff beforehand? Does it remember who Harold is and what Harold was to it? Even if is it angry at Harold now?
Oh, that's interesting. Whether it could be actually angry with Harold. One of the most interesting scenes for me from last season was listening Root defend the machine to Harold when she found out about being rich, and she was so emotional about it. And the way she was talking about the machine, it was almost like that was an incredible piece of acting. But I guess it has a right to, doesn't it? To be angry.
But it's like the way that you're betrayed if your parent does something.
Yeah.
So, but does it even remember it though? If we went back to day 1 and that.
What we always presumed was it erased its short-term memory, but it still had long-term memory. But here's the thing that's really fascinating now as we head into season 3. Is that the case anymore? And has it moved beyond that? And we know now that it still distributes the relevant numbers and the irrelevant numbers, but there's a third entity it is now reaching out to based on the phone call on the loony bin. It's going to get really weird here on out, so we'll see.